And welcome on into the Detroit Lions News Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Chap, and I'm along with my guys. I needed to get them on the podcast because it's divisional playoff weekend. And when we talk about divisional playoff, and I talk about some of the brightest minds that I know, it's Mr. Spirit of Detroit, which is Avery.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Walter of Lions Avenue. Because guess what? This is a I feel like I could bring you guys in because obviously when I bring you guys in, like, there is no bullshit. Like, that's what people need to understand. There is no BS. Now, when I love when Avery posts a video on the page, because like I say, leave it for your YouTube page, but he's getting some good traction on it, and people are going to his YouTube page. I keep linking it in the comments, but everyone's like, this guy has some takes. I'm like, hell yeah, he does. He does have some takes, man. I
appreciate it. I'm just trying to keep up with the people that I gotta keep up with people like Walter that give me a run for my money. I actually went to school and no football and stuff, and I gotta actually polish up. I gotta
regular old me, man.
Walt is a hidden treasure, man. Because I tell you what, this guy knows more about everything than anyone I've ever known.
Man, get out! Listen, I'm just another guy, man.
See, you're so humble. Like, you're so humble. Like, you're always like, I'm just another guy. I heard you yesterday.
Well, I mean, I'm Chris Olave to your Marvin Harrison Jr. and Garrett Wilson.
Nah, man, I think you're like the hidden gem because like you're like a Larry Fitzgerald. You know what I'm saying? Like you
constant pro,
man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Spirit of Detroit, man. He's like, God, who would I compare him to in NFL terms?
Give me Antoine Randall. Give me that.
Antoine Randall, Hines Ward because of the attitude. You know what I'm saying? T.O. because that's my quarterback type thing. You know what I'm saying? So we got it's a good thing. I'm just
it's hard growing up looking like T.O. It's hard. It was either T.O. or Ace Boogie, and I look just like him, so it's all good.
I'm just like a Wes Welker type, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
Every white guy will be compared to Wes Welker.
That's exactly the thing, you know. Every white wide receiver that comes out, or remember the white running backs that come out like Chris McCaffrey. He's like Danny Woodhead. I'm like, wait.
It don't matter. Like, same thing with it don't matter what his height is. Luke McCaffrey, 6'3", 215. He's Wes Welker. I can see it. Like, what you mean? You can see it. He's 6'4".
He's way taller and he's way more fit. Man, that's I love.
He's using them like it over there too. He's using them like it.
Well, draft season is my favorite because it feels like they just like throw these blanket statements at like people like, oh, he's like Wes Welker.
Lad McConkey.
Yeah. Lad McConkey was another one. My favorite though was a couple years ago.
I didn't think Lad was gonna be this damn dominant like this early. I said, people laughed at me before the draft. I said that he was a first round pick. But he wouldn't be because he was 5'10", 5'11", and white. Yep. And therefore he wasn't going to be a first round pick, but he's been boy.
Man, he's been great. And they just we didn't talk about
Brown.
We haven't talked about this, but you know who really disappointed me this year in terms of football was Quentin Johnston of the Chargers, man. He turned into a total.
You have to have expectations to be disappointed by somebody.
Man, I was kind of disappointed, to be honest. I had expectations to do all right, to be honest. Like, so it is what it is.
That's a pretty nice insult.
But if you look at that rebuild, it kind of mirrors us. If you look at year one of Jim's rebuild, he got him his left tackle, and Joe was great this season too. Joe was great, and he got him a wide receiver in the second round, and Lad McConkey could be their St. Brown.
Oh yeah. It's going to be interesting, man, with the Chargers and all these teams in the out of the wild card weekend. Like, let's talk about that. Like, is there anything you saw in the wild card weekend that you were like, man, like obviously Jaden Daniels, who we're going to talk about pretty soon, is the guy that stands out. But I just thought, man, like when I watched wild card weekend this weekend, I was just taken aback at how many bad games there were and how many bad teams there were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was surprised that Jordan Love, and the Packers looked like, and I was surprised the Eagles looked so inept on offense too.
You've been watching them all season, haven't you?
Well, yeah, but you get to the playoffs and you think that teams are going to turn around and they just show you exactly who they are over and over and over and over and over again.
Nobody really looks good in NFC right now, except for us.
That's pretty much it. Like, and the Lions should be, with all the injuries that they have, should they be looking like they looking? But I was waiting for like someone to come take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to be the Eagles? Is it going to be the Buccaneers? Is it going to be the Rams? Is it going to be the Eagles? And it's like, I mean, even the Rams. I mean, they took the same page out of our playbook and made Sam Darnold look like a puppet. So you can't trust gingers. I'm half ginger, so that doesn't count.
I really yeah, I really liked seeing the Rams. I don't like the Rams, but it was just nice to be proven kind of right, because I've been kind of riding been kind of using the word fraud a lot with Minnesota. So it's nice to actually get because there were some people defending them, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on here. The Rams.
The one video you posted, I don't mean to cut you off. The one video posted the other day, last week before the game. The last game before the last game, you were like, the Vikings are frauds, and this one guy goes, "How do you call a 14-win team a fraud?" And I was like, you know what? So I listened to the whole video, and I was like, you know what? He makes a damn good fucking opinion right there, man. A damn good opinion, because he kind of just like clears it down. Like, and I felt the same way about the Vikings. I mean, yeah, they're 14 wins, but like there's not much substance on the wins that they had. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lions I think the Lions and the Ravens are the only two teams besides the Chiefs, Lions, Chiefs, and Ravens to have over 6 wins against playoff teams. So
yeah, people act like what happened to Minnesota was something new. Didn't they win 14 games? Didn't they win 14 games the year they lost to the Giants?
I think that was 12, but yeah, that's something. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Now they have their issues, and I think Detroit. It just bothers me. I've heard people say after the Rams game that the Rams doing to the Vikings what they did discredits what the Lions did. I'm like, how? And that's bullshit. Like, we did it twice. They did it twice too, but we beat them first in week 7. They turned around a week after us and beat them. We beat them week 18. They turned around in the wild card and beat them. So it's like maybe both teams are just bad matchups for them. But I think the problem with Minnesota exclusively is the interior of that offensive line. That's a very soft team. And I've never really said that about the Vikings. The Vikings have always been like a very physical football team historically. But those tackles, that interior of that offensive line, those 3 wide receivers who are all 6 foot, 170 pounds.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's cool when everybody, like I said it before, everybody's giving you free runs. You're getting all these free releases. You're able to really get downfield head first into your routes.
Yeah.
And nobody's touching you. But once people start putting their hands on you again, and I'm saying this, I said it on our show, I'll say it here again. This is a big issue why the last couple years I was saying that Jamar Chase, to me, Chase was better.
Oh, than Jefferson? Because of the bump and run.
Well, yeah, the 6 foot to 210. Even if you look at Malik Neighbors, like these Malik and Jamar Chase are damn near the same type of wide receiver.
Oh, hell yeah.
Height-wise, weight, arm length, explosive after the catch.
And they're physical.
Built like running backs. Exactly. Physical. And I kept saying that during the game week 18 because I was watching the game with my brother. I'm like, that would never happen to Jamar Chase.
No.
That wouldn't happen to Malik Neighbors. And Neighbors was a rookie.
You bring up a good point because Meek was all over him, and Meek knew him in high school, and they played against each other in high school. So he obviously had a good scouting report on Justin Jefferson, and everything he seemed to do. I mean, I was watching some of the game on the NFL Pro, and there was 2 plays where like he got in Justin Jefferson's head. Like there was a play where Justin Jefferson had a chance to make a real good catch, and he's begging for a penalty. Like it's like, bro, just make the damn catch. Like you just said, if Malik Neighbors was there or Jamar Chase or I mean, even like a guy like St. Brown, which is not the same wide receiver, but like they're gonna go for the catch, not be all pissed because they got held on the route.
good thing is that what helped, I would think really what helped the Meek out was the fact that Meek didn't give a damn.
No,
like you don't have to be as talented as the guy you're going up against. But if I've competed against you since high school, and for whatever reason, especially with wide receivers and corners, it gets to the point where it gets chippy over years. And now I really don't like you. I competed against you in high school. I competed against you when you were at LSU, and I was over at Louisiana Tech. We competed since we've been in the league, Vikings against Raiders. I don't like you.
no.
And if you looked at how he was jamming him, he was handling him like he really didn't care for him that much. He was giving him like the Aqib Talib treatment.
Yeah.
Which would have been great because Talib would have took the chain off.
Yeah, that's
Talib would have ripped the earring out.
Yeah.
He would have ripped that goatee off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Aqib Talib would have done. But I just thought, like you said, I thought they got in Justin Jefferson's head. And I look at like this week, like Terry McLaurin, like if we're not, we're still talking wild card, but the guy like Terry McLaurin, like he's a different cat too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a good wide receiver who like
Terry to do it all.
He's good, and I think that like a lot of wide receivers in this league, man, they have this. Oh, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna try to force a pass interference call or whatever. This guy, he fights for everything. He's kind of like St. Brown. He likes to fight, man.
Yeah.
So same with Jamar Chase and obviously Malik Neighbors too. I had him on my fantasy team. That was a hell of a pick by me, but
yeah.
So if we look at this game, I mean, obviously, like you look at the Lions and I mean the Commanders' offense, and you look at their offense, and they're 7th in total yards, 17th in passing yards, 3rd in rushing yards. We all know why they're 3rd in rushing yards. 28.5 points per game, which is 5th in the league. 45.6, which on 3rd down, which is 6th in the league. And then you like look at their road split and a home split for the Lions, 25.4 on the road for the Commanders and 35.7 at home for the Lions. So they're gonna have to eclipse their average. And when you see the point spread being 9.5, and you see the average points on the road versus the Lions at home, it kind of makes sense why that spread is what it is. To be honest,
yeah.
I got a quick thought on Terry.
Yeah,
Terry. Terry is. I don't think people understand how good Terry is. I didn't understand how good he was. He had 128 targets with no drops. Just like in 2021, that whole run of 2017 to 2021. And then He also, I got on my phone and I quoted better. To quote it better. He is kind of like an Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's see. Well, first things first. He is a streaky player. A lot of it streaky because last year around this time, he was targeted 3 times in Miami, didn't catch a ball. And then we can go to what he's done in the last from week 3 to week 10, 39 receptions, 672 yards, 6 TDs. Before from week 1 to week 2, 8 receptions, 39 yards, 0 TDs. Like I said, over his last 190 targets, that's 2021. 128. He's a ghost stints of good. He has these good, amazing stints. Just good, amazing stints. Right now, or last year, 369 targets, 8 drops. So he's a good wide receiver. I think this is his best season though. He's not top 10 or top 15 or real nothing though. Like he's like a name we know, but he's like, I put him down there with Ayuk. He's just not getting paid like Ayuk, I don't think.
Yep.
He's just like, he's a consummate pro. He's a professional dude. He's fast, 4.3 speed out of Ohio State, all that type of stuff. But he hasn't done this level of work continuously, but he's had 6 quarterbacks that came in the league. So, say what you will, but if he has constant quarterback play with one person, I think he'd be good. He's played with Haskins. He's played with Alex Smith. He's played
Sam Howell,
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor
Oh, yeah.
Heineke. So
Yeah,
I'm
Taylor
looking at him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Terry's a really, really good player. If
Yeah.
you go back to 2021, before he got paid, like that was a really, really good breakout season for him. I think people around the league started to really open their eyes to him. But there's not really any flaws in Terry's game. He's a really good route runner, short route runner. He can run the post. He can run the corner. He can run a slant. He's going to get out there and block. I think he's a little bit more explosive than St. Brown is. But, like you said, if you get back to the fact that like that, I give everybody on that Washington team a wash last year. They got some of the poison out of the locker room.
Yep.
On both sides of the football. They're less talented this year and they're playing better football. So that tells you exactly how much culture really does matter in football and getting the guys out of the locker rooms that really don't belong there.
Yep.
But you look at last season, man, he played on the offense that had 32 turnovers. So I think that's something that played a major role in Terry's numbers. Terry also is quiet. Terry not gonna rock the boat. He's not gonna say much anything. So
he doesn't say nothing. I mean, he could be a total pain in the ass for the type of shit that he's dealt with. But I mean, like, the quarterbacks that he's dealt with and everything like that. He's a constant pro, to be honest. So I mean,
I don't think anybody's ever tried to really make him the focal point of the offense neither.
Yeah.
And that could have been the fact that they did go through so many journeymans at quarterback. They tried to give Taylor Heineke an opportunity, but behind that offensive line, you look at Sam Howell. Did Sam Howell really ever get a fair opportunity?
Not really.
No, it's it is what it is, but nobody cares now because the guy we replaced you with
is a stud.
Exactly. But how much of that goes into the super senior at quarterback having a success now, the Michael Penix having success, Caleb Williams struggling with the amount of stars he had in college, Bo Nix making the playoffs.
I mean,
Jayden Daniels, people forget how long Jayden Daniels was around in college.
Oh yeah, what's funny? Colton Pouncey of the Athletic, whatever, he posted a video of him at covering the game against Michigan State and Arizona State. And that was 4 years ago, man. Like, I was like, whoa. Because there was players on a defense. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I forgot that guy played for MSU. But, I mean, it's crazy because, like, Jayden Daniels, yeah, he's an older guy. But, I mean, me and you, Walt, we felt like this guy was, like, one of the best quarterbacks. I think you did too, Spirit, because I think we all felt like Jayden Daniels was one of the best quarterbacks in this draft, to be honest.
No.
I like Jayden Daniels way better than I like Caleb Williams, if you want me to be honest.
I just like Jayden Daniels because he wasn't doing podcasts, and I don't like no social media for no athletes that's getting paid millions of dollars. I'm sure they can do it. I mean, that's a free country and stuff, but just millions of dollars, and you talk about TikTok, and that's why I don't like Terry on. That's a main catalyst. Like, if he was just a bad corner, and there was no TikTok, I'd be like, all right, he's growing, But when he got the TikTok and he and the
well, no one could be as bad as that kid from Ohio State who was a walk-on and got thrown off the team today because he recorded pregame meetings on TikTok. So that was cool. You're a walk-on and you're recording meetings for your freaking
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Probably did it for some girl. He tried trying to prove that he was on the team and shit.
Oh yeah, probably. But it's funny because it's funny that you bring this up, Avery, because everybody you see Micah Parsons doing podcasts, you see obviously St. Brown doing podcasts, but like
Draymond Green.
Yeah, but you see Micah Parsons, he's doing a top 5 quarterback and he leaves his quarterback off the list, which, I mean, it's being honest, but at the same time, it's like, that's your teammate, bro. Like, you can't be that honest.
But Micah, as bad as Dallas is, as big of a mess as Dallas is, Micah pulls his weight.
That's true,
Micah definitely pulls his weight.
Yeah.
He missed how many games this season and still ended with 12.5 sacks?
Yeah. Yeah. He was a man. Micah Parsons is a beast, man. I just don't.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
I still don't know. I still don't know how he slipped that far in the draft. That was because those
Well, we know the politics that happened at Penn State.
Man,
remember how that whole thing went down during COVID? All of that crap came out about him once he decided to not play that season. Once he decided to not play, all of this bad teammate stuff, hazing, he was a bully, came from his own team though.
See, that's where I kind of believe, like me and you've talked about this, Walt. Me and you, but talked about this. But you get to the draft process, and I feel like they just throw shit out there because they're trying to get the guy to come to fall to them or whatever.
Yeah,
that's just what I feel. But it is what it is. But this Jaden Daniels kid, he's been fantastic. I mean, look at him on the road. Look at him on the road, though. I mean, this is insane. He on the road, he's 156 for 209 passing, 1,600 yards, 74.6 completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 108.2 rating. Then last game against the Buccaneers, he had 24 for 35, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 110 rating. This guy is just a total package in terms of how good he is,
efficient,
and what he could. And yeah, exactly.
I love his graphics. I love his graphics.
And I was looking at his numbers, and I was amazed because every number that he is by, in terms of like where he throws and everything like that, he's just like he's just like Jared Goff and how smart he is, and he's mobile. So, I mean, that's just the way he is. Like I watch some of his. You look at some of his statistics, like throwing, big time throws. He don't make those like those turnover worthy throws. They're all pretty good throws. Like he's in the top of the league.
He is amazing quick release, and then 75 scrambles, 100 and I believe 139. I got it in here. 140 class runs, and then he's throwing for it's 3,700 now, but 25 and 6. Statistically, he's having the best rookie season in the last 2000 since the 2000s. So he's having a better rookie season than Andrew Luck because of the turnovers minimum. Better than RG3 because the touchdowns on the ground. Better than Stafford.
Yeah.
Just like in every quadrant, he's to the high right. So he's not just no flash in the pan. So what Lions fans like to say is Lions fans like to downplay everybody, even though we don't have stuff. So that's what they like to do. They like to, and these other fan bases don't care about. They don't care about what you think in Farmington Hills. They care about what's real. All we got to do is hit him. He's been hit. I don't know. I watched the film. He's been hit.
He's like you said, he's a smaller dude. He's been hit before, and he's so smart that he avoids hits that he should get smoked on. Like last week, Levante David was closing in on him. This guy goes, "F it, I'm just gonna go down." And
he used to get killed at LSU.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He woke up.
He woke up. I think someone said that in practice, I was talking to Tay and Todd from the Commanders podcast, and they were saying that Bobby Wagner lit him up in practice to show him like you can't fucking do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's veteran shit.
And Bobby Wagner is a veteran, so if Bobby Wagner does and says, "Look, you can't do that," like they will smoke you like I just did in practice, and I'm your teammate. So you gotta use your head and not you can't do the same thing that you were doing. So.
I will say this to piggyback off what Lamar was just saying about the Andrew Luck comparison. It's pretty comparable because if you think about it, Luck took over a 1-win team and got them to the playoffs. The very next year. Daniels takes over a 4. What they were 4-12 last year.
Yeah.
No, 4-13. 4-13 last year, and they turned into a 12-win team. Now Luck didn't win in the playoffs. Luck lost to Baltimore in the first round that year, but Luck beat a bunch of 500 teams that year, including our Detroit Lions at one point in time. But he beat Aaron Rodgers. He beat a bunch of people that year as a rookie. And if you look at Jaden Daniels, people start still trying to say that there's an argument between Brock Bowers, and that's BS. As great as Brock was, Brock didn't affect shit.
He ain't got him in the playoffs.
No,
he ain't got him.
Jaden won it with the throw against Philadelphia a few weeks ago.
And Jaden Daniels, I mean, I like Brock Bowers. I think I voted
Brock
second.
is great. Yeah.
I think he's second rookie voting for sure, him or Bo Nix. But Like I look at Jane Daniels, and he's done everything that you could ask out of a rookie quarterback. And I thought it was interesting because this is what obviously Lions fans are going to downplay the way Jane Daniels is. So you could just hear it from Coach. This is what he said about Jane Daniels.
Daniels obviously has been a big part of their turnaround. Can you just talk about the challenge he presents at quarterback?
He is dangerous. He's dangerous. He poses a major threat. He does not play the position like a rookie quarterback. He's composed. He understands how to progress. He sees the field well. He can buy time with his legs. He's a dangerous runner. He's smart. He's smart. You can tell he understands how to run that offense, what they're asking him to do. And then he's got weapons. He's got weapons around him. I mean, this receiver's pretty dang good. 17's a hell of a player, He's got a good back. He's got more than one receiver. Ertz at tight end. I mean, they've got weapons. The whole line plays hard. But he's a difference maker.
So I mean, you could just take it right there. I mean, there's a lot of Lions fans I see that are trying to downplay what Jane Daniels is.
They don't know they don't know nothing. I look, anybody who watches Syndicate and all them guys, they don't know nothing, bro. They don't like. I watched Motor City Rocked On 2 times, and y'all ain't watching no film, bro. Y'all gotta get right between the kisser to feel good about yourselves, and then we lose to the Bills. It's all hell breaks loose.
Yep,
lose to the Bills. We lost 2 games, and the sky is falling. Like, I don't take no Lions fan seriously, because at the end of the day, you gotta like calm them down, because they be like, oh, we're the champions. It ain't won yet.
No.
And when they get beat and hit the mouth, what do you mean? He's just a runner. Like, y'all are crazy. So we here to this type of content right here is for normal people. Like, we're trying to get you out of that emotional, whether it be Micro Mike, whether it be Syndicate, whether it be all those emotional people that you grew up watching. Like, no, this is the stats. This is a real opponent. Your coach take him serious. We take him serious. We're not saying all hail. We're not saying hitter. We're not saying none of that stuff. We're Lions fans that are looking at the opponent like an actual opponent, like a coach. I just felt like that there's some cockiness, some Lions fans I just don't like. Like we might win. We gonna win this game. You think they just not gonna come to play? Think Magic Johnson and them boys just not gonna come to play? Like, only fan base that we got it. We ain't won nothing. We ain't got no trophy, but we got it.
I had 3 or 4 off-color jokes for that.
Yeah, they got it, guys.
Though, man. I think, man, Washington. As much as I do respect Washington, though, I do think they're still early. They're still a little raw right now. Lions fans aren't used to this. None of us are used to this, being the hunted, being the team that these other teams are looking up at, aspiring to be.
Yep.
Washington didn't originally want Dan Quinn. They wanted our coach.
Yeah.
They wanted our offensive coordinator.
Yep.
But things ultimately worked out for them. But I just think overall, man, if they don't have enough, as much as I do like Jayden Daniels, I like Terry McLaurin, I like Brian Robertson Jr., I like a few of the pieces they have on defense. Just none of it is really enough, especially at corner. And Lattimore is cooked.
Yeah.
And I said this like Lattimore, he's been a hell of a player out of Ohio State, but throw some lemon pepper on that dude. It's over.
I mean, I love Lattimore as a player, but you're right, he is cooked. I mean, when you're getting like, just when Mike Evans is beating you off the break, we got issues, because Mike Evans, he's coming off a hamstring. I think he tore his hamstring off the bone or something like that. If he's beating you down the field, I mean, we got really big issues, to be honest. And I've always liked Lattimore as a player. I thought he's been a great player and a total, great game changing corner. But man, he's not the same player he was. And this is a team right now that, like, I feel like they're what we were 2 years ago, where they're kind of just there. They're not really the team that you think like is gonna, they could upset some people. Obviously,
I think it's a big question mark on them. Like, I look at you like I look at Houston. Like you're peaking right now, but next season could you be an 8-win team?
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if that happened because typically when teams have this much success this early, there's going to naturally be a step back. Now Houston got away with it because they played in such a piss poor division, so they were able to get away with that.
Well, when you're going against Jacksonville and Tennessee and Will Levis,
big boys,
yeah, man, someone had to win the AFC South. So I mean,
yeah.
The NFC East is, I mean, besides the Giants, it's a pretty good division with the Eagles and the Cowboys. So
y'all think I'm playing? Check this out. I know y'all got to get to the next segment. This is the cocky stuff I be hearing, and this is what I be hearing now. Whether it's like real or not, Jaden Daniels gonna lose the game and lose his kneecaps. And I be hearing crazy stuff. Like, first of all, you ain't even playing. You wasn't on the scouting report, okay? You dudes be talking like I swear to God, they be talking crazy. For the most part, Tampa did a great job at derailing them. We'll do the same. We got it, AG. You talk about the 26th ranked passing defense, AG, with no corners? Man, stop.
I do believe they're gonna figure out they have a game plan to shut this down. I do, because at the end of the day, man, the reason they've been so successful offensively all season, especially on third down and fourth down, is common sense. When you have a mobile quarterback, that turns third and mediums and third and longs into actually third and threes and third and fours. Look at Lamar in Baltimore. Look at Josh Allen in Buffalo. It happens. They don't take a whole lot of shots downfield. They use a lot of smoke and mirrors offensively, a lot of motions, a lot of odd sets just to do basic shit. So at the end of the day, if we can be disciplined enough on defense, personally, I'm in favor of seeing a lot more 4-4 fronts. I want to shrink the pocket on them. I want to contain everything inside, force them to step up. And when you step up, you're going to have to either step up into Anzalone or Jack Campbell. And if you go to the outside, you're going to be spied by Branch. You're going to be spied by Melifonwu.
Yeah.
There's going to be plays where we have two spies on you. Like because I think at the end of the day, if you can stop him from running, it's over, because I don't believe they're going to be able to match us offensively. The only way their defense can actually stand up to our offense is if we have a bad game. If there's a Houston Texan type of game, or if there's a game where Ben Johnson has his worst called game of the season at the biggest moment, or we have fumble, like something like that. If we come to play our game, how are they supposed to keep pace?
Yeah, I think that's what an interview with Barry said. Is like Herman Moore said is the only thing that can stop the Detroit Lions is the Detroit Lions.
Agree with that 100% for sure.
This team can't. Not to say that they can't win the game, but they're like, if you look at this team defensively, what they do, and offensively, what they do, all of it is just not conducive with beating us. Like, you're bad against the run. You give up a lot of yards per carry. You're not that big in the middle of the defensive line. Jerzon Newton is a good player, but until he gets his DJ Reader next to him, or his Grady Jackson, somebody that can take up some space next to him and eat up some space, because now they're in a situation with him where he's an undersized 3-tech. Right. He's out there to rush the passer. You're asking him to do way too much run defense wise.
And something need to be said about the Commanders' 12-5 record. We got to actually look at that too, because they, like you said, from a skills perspective, they're still early. And Jerzon Newton needs this. Jaden Daniels probably needs, another offensive lineman and a running back. They need to draft Genty, because they're not really right now. Jaden Daniels, their leading rusher. I know, Lions fans hear that he's a running quarterback. Stop thinking. Okay, we're here to tell you, 35.
They not watch LSU.
They don't know nothing. So I'm telling them, like, look, and for the Lions fans watching that actually know something, you know who you are. You actually know something. But if you hear this, if I say 789 yards and he's a quarterback leading rusher, he's nobody. You have that idea. You need to get your encyclopedia and you need to start looking, because he has 3,735 for the season, but as with the playoffs, 3,700 yards passing, 25-9, and then with the playoffs, he just had 6 games where he had 2-minute offenses. In the last 2 minutes, he won the game with a throw. He had one game where he threw 5 TDs. 20 yards to throw.
A veteran wide receiver had the best season of his career with a rookie quarterback.
Exactly.
Terry had 13 touchdown catches with him this season.
Exactly.
Yep. He didn't get that with Sam Howell.
Exactly. And
he
then
didn't get it with Taylor Heineke.
And brought him back to life.
And to further prove your point, Spirit, Avery and Spirit, and Walt, like, look at this. Like, you said Jane Daniels is leading the team in rushing, and he is. It's because Brian Robinson isn't a good running back. Like, I look at this, like, you look at 4.3 per average, which is not bad, but like he's getting 57.1 per game. I mean, Jane Daniels is getting that, and Jane Daniels. A lot of people don't understand. He don't like to run the ball. He really don't. He takes off when he has to. He's kind of like he's one of these. He sits in the pocket. He loves to sit in the pocket and make the reads and do the things that he needs to do. Right. But he doesn't like to run. Yeah. But he will because the team needs him to run. So he'll make some runs. He averages 50 a game, and he does a pretty good job at that. But like when you talk about this guy, Jane Daniels, like he loves to pass the ball. He loves to be in the pocket, and he likes to do that. If you get him a running back, I think he's gonna be fine. So
you got to get him Ashton Gentry, and then you got to start building that defense, and then you actually got something there. But let's just take a look at their wins. I just want y'all to count out their wins because this is the only thing a Lions fan can really like joke about with the wins. Like, look at the wins. New York, the Bengals. The Bengals was a Monday night game. The Bengals were a better team. They're 9-8. They're a winning team. So I'm gonna count off the losers. All right. The losers they won against the Giants, Arizona, Cleveland, Carolina, Chicago, New York again, Dallas, Atlanta. Okay, they stole a game against Philadelphia, but New Orleans. This is not Tennessee.
10.
All right, so we got 10 wins. Check this out. We got 10 wins with opponents that are less than 500, and we have 2 wins that we stole. 9-8 Bengals, as well as we stole a win from the Eagles. So you could call them fraudulent, but when you start looking and digging on the actual statistics, they got a lot to work with. They just another year or 2 years away from being on par with the bigger kings like Philadelphia, Detroit, even LA to a certain degree. They're not there yet.
I kind of say that they're kind of like what we were 2 years ago. Like they're kind of just reaching the pinnacle. And I think that they're going to get better. Obviously, Dan Quinn has done a damn good job at like installing a culture. Like you said, Walt, he installed a great culture. He's kind of like a Dan Campbell type. I mean, he does go for a 4th down just as much as Dan Campbell. So we ain't going to see much punts this weekend. But like I look at these 2 guys and like they came in there and they demanded the respect. They demanded that they act professional. And that you could see it in their way they play. Like, obviously, you look at the way the Commanders played last year and you look at the way they did this year, like, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And their GM deserves a bunch of credit, too. But, I mean, they're playing at a better level. They're winning games that they're not supposed to win. I mean, the Cincinnati game, like you talk about, that was a game that they came back and they really stole that game, to be honest. That was a game that they...
Yeah. I think, man, they really overachieved. Honestly, like I said, if you look at that roster, you put a rookie quarterback on that roster, you bring in Dan Quinn, an experienced veteran head coach. Like I said, he called a great defense in Seattle. He had a good, successful tenure in Atlanta until things started to crumble the last 2 years after Shanahan left and they had the debacle in the Super Bowl. But then he had a successful defense in Dallas when he had all of his players healthy. Yeah. So, they, like I said, they hit on the head coach, they hit on the quarterback. And if you look at that roster, man, that roster is probably worse than name-wise. It's worse than what it was last year. So, to me, they got to the point that I thought Arizona should have gotten to this year with Kyler Murray. Now, you can argue that maybe, some certain matchups didn't work out. Arizona blew some games down the stretch. I still think they should have beat Minnesota that game. They gave that Minnesota game away, but Washington, they overachieved, and all you can expect from a first-year head coach, even though Dan Quinn, this is Dan Quinn's first year with them, a first-year head coach, a rookie quarterback, Terry McLaurin, and pretty much nothing else on that roster.
No.
A rookie defensive tackle, rookies in the back end, and you get that team to 12 wins. So I kind of applaud the fact that they went out there with what they had and beat the teams we think they should have beat. Because at that point in time, even when they beat Cincinnati, we still thought Cincinnati went 0-2. So we still thought Cincinnati was a good team.
And they finished out good too. They almost made the playoffs, but that game cost them the playoffs. That game really did cost them the playoffs. And
right,
you break it down like if the Commanders lose that game, are they in the playoffs? I mean, they probably a 7th seed on probably in the Eagles. And then you look at the Bengals, if they win that game, they're probably in the playoffs. So I mean, that's just kind of it goes. So
I even got one for you right here. Check this out. That's how crazy life is. So the Bengals, they had a loss to the what's they called? New England Patriots, right?
Mm-hmm.
New England Patriots stole a game from them first week. That game, check this out. That game really cost the Bengals a playoff spot, and it cost New England Patriots the first pick in the draft.
It was a double.
Well, you can say, hey, look, oh yeah, because the Bengals needed just one win to get in the playoffs.
Yep,
just one win, and the New England Patriots, you can say, well, with Gerard Mayo, he went out there and won, and that's how he got fired and stuff. He should have lost against the Bengals because everybody picked him to win.
That was a game. That was a game. The Bengals offense went totally fucking it was just bizarre.
Exactly, disappeared, and it was like.
Well, how do you get mad at a coach for not losing a game? Like, how the hell do you expect me to lose a game? Like, do they think he told Joe Milton to go out there and do that shit?
No, you want to hear the truth? Because we talk the truth on this podcast.
Yeah,
they were the whole thing. This whole bull crap about why Aaron Glenn he declined the job interview because we knew who was getting the job. Whenever Ron Mayo got fired, we knew who was getting the job. Like there was no doubt about it. Like I love the Rooney Rule because I feel like it's just there is Pep Hamilton was getting job interviews.
They immediately called Pep and Byron.
Like wait,
Pep and Byron. Like it's like he just the season's over. Get Pep and Byron on the phone.
I was like Pep Hamilton. He still coaches. Like I remember him at Michigan. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait, what? He still coaches? Like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like I just thought it was funny. Like the whole Rooney Rule needs to be revamped because it gets used and abused by a lot of teams. To be honest,
because they look. This is what I think. This is what I think, and it's not going to be like evil or nothing towards fans or nothing. Look, this is what I think. I'm very balanced too, fans. I'm very balanced. Look, you got the Rooney Rule in there just to get the interview out the way. You know who you're gonna hire. Matter of fact, when the deeper story, Gerard Mayo was just promised that job because that was part of Bill's succession plan.
Yep.
Bill made a succession plan before he left or before he was fired or whatever. And then, he was like, it was always a succession plan for him. If he retired or felt like retiring, it's just Gerard's job. Gerard never had a situation where anybody, pushed him to, you want to coach over here first. You want to coach in Pittsburgh or Baltimore, defensive coordinator. No, it's just everybody assumed that, his lackeys were getting the stuff. And guess what? His lackey again gets the stuff. Like, so the first word that was said in those meetings in those years, that's how Gerard, I kind of knew this was on the wall. I didn't know he was going to get fired this soon, but when he started doing stuff like the Gerard Mayo way, like you can look it up. He started taking down little stuff like do your job signs. Bill Belichick signs, Bill.
Didn't he also demote his son?
He demoted his son.
That was it.
Check this out.
You're out of here.
He started throwing his quarterback under the bus. Drake needs a lot of work, actually. At the training camp, But I didn't know it was. There's a whole like expose on the toxic
He
culture.
came off. I don't know what it is in the air, man, with them Patriot dudes, man. But he came off from what they said. He came off very Brian Flores, where it was like, there was this air about him.
Yep.
And I don't speak to these players, and don't you speak to me. And like it was kind of weird, man. It was really weird. But it was from day one, from training camp.
Right.
But the stuff was like that.
But remember, this is what we hear. We hear Bill O'Brien. We hear this Matt Patricia. This is their culture. And then check this out. When Gerard comes in there and talks about collaboration and all this nonsense, like in Detroit, we can have collaboration. You know, the GM, the owner, Dan Campbell, they're voting on stuff. Over there, it's an autocracy. It's a oligarchy. Okay, you're just a player. Like if you don't have no say so, if you don't like, they had Bill who had the reins on everything. He had the terrible drafts. He had the terrible this. He had Tom Brady to bail him out. Everything. He had the rings. He had the reins on everything. He had the contracts, the player personnel changes, and then you give that to a guy who was not prepared for it, and then he's talking about collaboration. So you got a bunch of people that's not qualified making decisions. So you even see Teddy Bruschi's interview. It's like Teddy Bruschi's like, dude, we don't need no collaboration. I'm like, bro, that's how everybody else work in the league. That's how Detroit work.
Yeah.
So over there, if I'm Aaron Glenn, I wouldn't even look at that job. New England Patriot?
No.
Watch out.
Well, that's why they went with Mike Vrabel, and I think it's a good hire. I mean, the Titans should never got rid of Vrabel because Vrabel is I feel like he was the one coach that came from the Patriots. He went to Houston. He had a good track record there. Then he went to Tennessee, and he had a good track record there until John Robinson traded AJ Brown, which was that was what derailed the whole thing. And Vrabel was pissed about that. But in Vrabel, I think he's a good coach, and I was listening to some podcasts with Will Compton and Taylor Lewan and Kevin Byard, and they were talking about Vrabel like in like the way that like we hear the players talk about Campbell, like he's a player's coach. He loves his guys. He'll do anything for them. I think that's the kind of guy you need, to be honest. Like you got to get away from this whole Patriot way bullshit because it never works. It just doesn't. It doesn't. So.
I mean, the writing's on the wall. The one guy that went left while everybody else was still going right, he was the only one that had success.
Yep.
None of those other dudes had zero success. Remember how great Charlie Weiss was supposed to be?
Yep.
Like that. That's all of them. None of them had any.
Same with Bill O'Brien. Same with like you said, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel. Remember that one? Oh, it was a great one. Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels. Like that was a debacle too, but like it just goes on and on with those guys and
Flores,
and that's why it's like it's incredible that the Redskins, the Commanders, they made a great hire in Dan Quinn, who is a player's coach, and you could tell he's a player's coach. He changed the culture, and that year one they're in the playoffs, and obviously we could pick it at their schedule and the way that they won, but they're just playing. He gets them to play, and I think that's the most important thing. So. But yeah, the Gerard Mayo stuff that I just had to sidebar that was crazy.
You're good.
That was crazy.
I just think that some people shouldn't have a podcast. Like some people that just talk Lions sports shouldn't even talk Lions sports. And if they don't talk Lions sports, and they like, I don't know. I'm just watching this guy. I can say his name, Motor City Roars or whatever. This is ridiculous. He's saying that Jaden Daniels, he's not going to do this, that, and the third. How do you know? It's crazy, bro. Like, bro, we gave up 21 points in less than 12 minutes last year in an NFC Championship game for the world to watch.
You know what?
And yeah, I don't bring that shit up at all.
You know what's really weird about it? They had more respect for Sam Darnold. They had more fear of that dude than they have of Jaden Daniels.
I think it's comical, to be honest.
And they both have 1 year of good play.
And I think it's hilarious, to be honest. Like the whole, like I hear on 97.1 Ticket, Jim Costa, John Jansen, they're on this. It's going to be a double-digit win, and everything.
Oh, I think so.
I mean, it's gonna be. We'll talk about why we think it's gonna be a double. You know, it could be a big win. But I look at the Commanders and I go, some of these Lions podcasters gotta stop, because here's what happens, man. You get so clouded in your own like world that you think that you can't, like, your team is the best of the best, right? There's obviously holes that you could poke at the Detroit Lions. There's obviously holes you could poke at the Washington Commanders. But like I give Jane Daniels respect, man, because that guy is a rookie of the year, and he is a difference maker. Your own coach said it. I just played it earlier in the podcast. He said it that he's a difference maker. So you got to take him for his word, because your own coach said that. So people that are not taking this game seriously in terms of how different this could be if, you know, one or two things go wrong. I mean, I just put it up before while you were talking, Avery, but you look at overall rushing efficiency. This isn't because of Brian Robinson. This is because of Jaden Daniels. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. So, I mean, we talk about Jaden Daniels, man. He's a legit a guy. And you look at their offense, obviously the quarterback, but you look at Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson. He's not the greatest running back. Their rushing yards is 154.1, but you got to think that 56.6 of those are Mr. Jaden Daniels. So it's going to be a tough game, man. I think it's going to be tougher than people realize. I think that if the Lions, it's all going to come down to those fourth downs, because both these teams don't like to punt. I don't know. These coaches they're totally aggressive. They're both aggressive as hell. It must be a Dan thing. I don't know what it is.
Right. It's plus, you know what? We got to think. Dan Quinn was a part of teams that were not as aggressive. Like when he had Atlanta, and he
if he would have been aggressive, he would have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and if he when he was with when he was playing the cover 3 defense as a defensive coordinator over there with Jesus Christ, what's his name? Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, he's seen Pete Carroll be conservative. Like, I have 2 runs and 1 pass. I should pass on second down. And he just let him do it. No one talked about it. It was just like, oh, we have 2 runs, 2 passes, 2 runs, 1 pass.
But Dan was a nice. He's got that label as a nice guy. And it's funny how once he started losing, that all of a sudden that became the problem. Like if Dan Campbell miraculously 3 years from now hits a dry spell and starts losing, that's going to be the narrative. Oh, he's too much of a player's coach. They like him too much. It's time to. The message has died in the locker room. You know, they love that one.
Look, another thing I love that, like, okay, like you got a guy like Mike Tomlin, right, in Pittsburgh, right? He gets his team to 9-10 wins every year. Out of the miraculous God, out of thin air, he's getting 10 wins with Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. Like, this guy's like, he's literally turning wine from water. So, like, and then you hear Steelers fans, let's trade Mike Tomlin. Let's fire Mike Tomlin. Who the hell are you gonna get that's gonna help you out, bro? You need a quarterback. That's what you need.
Well, they what they feel is, and I kind of feel the same way. What they feel is, Mike Tomlin, his philosophy has been changed by the rules around him. Remember when he took over, he started having dominating defense. I mean, suffocating. And you can say, well, he didn't get those guys and everything. He's a coach. He wasn't going to get those guys. Like once the rules started changing in 2009, 2010, the Super Bowls kind of went away, and his cornerbacks can't touch beyond 5 yards. His linebackers can't hit over the middle and stack the box and move and blitz the quarterback and hit the quarterback just to hit the quarterback. So now he's been playing this kind of like zone happy thing. But when you look at Mike Tomlin, he has the same playoff record as Marvin Lewis, which is, when they lost. So it's about like 9 and 11.
Yeah.
So when you're a fan base that you got a good team or an okay team and you win, like it's almost like I have bread and I'm making sandwiches, but I see people over here eating steak, because to a certain degree, Zach Taylor for the Bengals evolved the game. More people are playing 5 wide all the time on first down. You had, God forbid, I misquote. You have guys like what what do you call these? The Shanahan tree, the McVays, the freaking LaFleurs, the Kevin O'Connell. They've done amazing things, and the playoff success has been there for some of them, but not all of them. So I think that Pittsburgh Steelers fans are kind of right in their being upset, but they also use the only reason that they keep them is they look at race and stuff or whatever. Like there's this subtext where they be mad that he's black or whatever, but they also be mad that if like an apologist, a Tomlin apologist will say, well, he won as many games as Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher in today's NFL, and there's that stuff. But when you look at the wins and losses, if you eating bread and sandwiches every day for 10 years and you're well fed, you're going to be mad one day that you're just eating bread and sandwiches. You're not eating steak. You're not eating lobster. You're not living a good life like Detroit. You don't have none of that grit stuff like Detroit.
It's kind of like what Dan Campbell said about like you got used to eating filet mignon, and then you got to go back to that moldy effing bread.
I'm gonna say this, man, in Tomlin's defense, who's out here winning more than 9 or 10 games without a quarterback? And if you look at Pittsburgh, that was a long gap. If you look at last time they made a Super Bowl before Cowher got there, when they played against Seattle here, you're talking about 93 or 94 when they played Dallas with Neil O'Donnell. Neil O'Donnell wasn't even a good quarterback. So it takes a long time unless you hit the lottery like the Colts and Packers did, and you go from Hall of Fame caliber quarterback to the next Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. But for a head coach with no rushing attack, consistently bad offensive line play, now the receiver situation, why do you guys keep getting the same type of receiver personality wise? I don't know who's responsible for that, but as a head coach and sometimes as a fan, you got to pump your brakes, and that making change just for the sake of making change stuff can come back to bite you. I mean, you want to get rid of him and do what? Because at the end of the day, if you still don't get a quarterback, you still don't have shit.
Yeah, and he's been in charge of that situation. I think he kept Roethlisberger a year too long because there was a good quarterback class, and then he got stuck with, Kenny Picks a lot, and this is not.
He's
fair.
up for worst quarterback ever too.
Yeah,
he throw like one touchdown and 25 starts or something weird.
Yeah. He had 1-6, and then they had Matt Canada. Like, this is stuff. They had the 31st ranked offense and stuff walking around with Matt Canada. You can't be this motivational guy and happy and stuff. And they picked towards the draft, just like Paul Jones said. They picked towards the back of the draft. So you're not good enough. You're not good enough to win a Super Bowl, but you're not bad enough to get a real pick. Like, it's comical, dog.
It is funny, and that's just something I laugh about with the NFL fans, because they always go from one extreme to another. But it's the same thing we deal with the Lions fans. Like, obviously, right now everything's great, and then things happen, and they're like, "Oh, this sucks."
Look, check this out. I got a dude. I talked about this on my stream, and there's a dude who's a season ticket holder of Lions. Season ticket holder. He lives in Midland. Okay, I'm talking about you. Jesus, forgot his name. Paul. Yeah, Paul. So Paul and Sarah, season ticket holders, live in Milan, Michigan. You know what he said to me? He said, "Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl at a Christmas party." Okay. His wife also told my wife that he said, "I think he likes to argue." And I was like, because I was like defending my Lions. And then that's when I realized a lot of y'all Lions fans ain't Lions fans for real. Because I was saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. He's like, maybe next year. Yeah, we got a lot of injuries. He was like, real like, and I'm like, you a season ticket? Yeah, I sit in row 102. Like, you sit closest to the field and you see these players and you sit, man, it made me so mad that he ain't on the waiting list. He goes down there every day. He go down in the game and he's like, yeah, I think Sam's got it. If not Sam Mahomes. And I'm like, you go to the games And you believe this? And he's like, yeah, we just got too many injuries. Like, you got to think realistically. So, yeah, Paul and Sarah of Milan, Michigan. You guys are not Lions fans. I'm taking your passes because
calling them out.
Exactly, because the Vikings are out of the playoffs. I went on the Vikings page and I said, "How's the draft looking?" Because that's what we talk about. That's what we talk about now. How's free agency looking?
I've already seen people. They're all like, "Well, we'll be back next year." I'm like, I don't know, man. You better get the offensive line fixed. That's the main thing. The interior of the offensive line is kind of trash, to be honest. They missed Darisaw though. But we look at this Lions game, and you look at the Commanders' defense, and we always talk about the Commanders' defense. I mean, if there's one area that the Lions could really exploit in this game, it's their rushing defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the rushing defense; they're giving 137.5 a game, so that's a pretty significant amount. And then you look at this Lions offense versus Commanders defense, passing versus play action. The Commanders rank 30th. The Lions rank second. Short passing, the Lions rank first. The Commanders rank 24th. Passing versus blitz, Detroit ranks number 3. The Commanders rank number 27. Passing versus no pressure, Detroit's number 1. The Commanders are 21st. Overall passing efficiency, Detroit's second. The Commanders are 23rd. So you look at the defensive side, man. This is a place where the Lions can really take advantage. And then you look at this too. The Commanders blitz 31.5% of the time, which is 5th highest in the NFL. And you look at Goff versus the blitz, like 70.5 completion percentage, 3rd in the NFL. 1,500 yards, which is 4th in the NFL. 8.8 yards per attempt, which is 4th in the NFL. 14 touchdowns, tied for 4th in the NFL. And the 8 sacks, which is 5th lowest in the NFL. So, I mean, you look at this, and the Commanders' defense, they have their work cut out for them for sure. This is pretty exciting.
Listen, I don't understand what people want to hear, man. I mean, like if I give a close score, that kind of means that I'm expecting the Lions to kind of play down to the level of competition or whatever. But if you look at the numbers outside of the mobile quarterback, nothing favors Washington. None of it. And even if you look at the fact that they blitz as much as they blitz, and they play man coverage 6th most in the league because they don't have the talent. So they have to do that.
Yep.
How are you going to play man as much as they play man and try to blitz as much as they want to blitz with those corners out there against St. Brown, against Jameson Williams, against Tim Patrick, against Laporta, against Jahmyr Gibbs? Honestly, where do the people that think this game is going to end in an upset win for the Washington Commanders, what football rationale is it being based upon? Or is it just, it's just eventually the Lions are going to lay an egg. Eventually they're going to lose. Someone's going to get us. Someone's going to get us. Or someone's going to get them. Nothing about this game says Washington can win it to me. Now, do they have a puncher's chance, an NFL playoff chance where we've seen bigger upsets than this would be. And this will be a big upset for the Lions to be a 15-win team and to play the type of football they play and beat the teams the way they've beaten teams this season and turn around and lose to Washington. It would be very, very disappointing, but it's not even about disrespecting them or disrespecting Minnesota. I thought that we would blow Minnesota out. And Vikings fans came on a stream, said I was being disrespectful. I said they were going to beat the Vikings week 7. You're being disrespectful. They turned right back around, popped back up week 18. We're going to blow you guys out. You're being disrespectful. Well, I was right. we were right in both cases. Like, you're a good football team. And this is how I look at it. All 14 wins ain't created equal, bro.
No.
Because for you to be a 14-win team and to go into that game against Detroit, whether it's on the road, because they wouldn't have beat us. If they would have beat us in Minnesota, they wouldn't have beat us like that. And I still don't think if we would have played them week 7, week 18 in Minnesota, we would have won. I believe we would have won. So
and we spotted the Vikings 10 points in that first matchup. Like, if you think about it, like the Lions didn't come to play in the first half, and then the Lions, had to come back, and they came back from 10 down. So I mean, you think about it like that, like that's just the way it goes. But if you look for the Commanders, if there's something that they have for them going for them, like this goes back to what you were talking about, Walt. Look at this. Rushing versus the light box, they're number 6. Detroit's 29th. Quarterback rushing, Detroit's 16th. The Commanders are 1st. Rushing the shotgun, Detroit's 26th, 3rd for the Commanders. 22nd rushing inside the tackles. The Commanders are 4th. That's usually Jaden Daniels that runs up the inside tackles. And then passing versus play action, Detroit's number 1, and the Commanders are 15th. So there's really nothing that really benefits the Commanders, and like you said.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing else. Matter of fact, that's what my next video is going to be about. Like, when I did a video just recently, it was about the RPO versus Detroit.
Yep.
And that's all they got. Even look, when I did the research with their YouTubers and I did the research looking at their stats, everything, film, everything, all they talked about was Jake.
Yeah.
And maybe the closest second to it was Terry. And the season Terry's having.
Yep.
Someone tried to argue with me and say Terry was a top 5 receiver. I said top 5 where? Maybe in Canada, he's a top 5. Maybe in Japan, he's number 1. But over here, I can name 10, 15 receivers better than him right now. I put him down there with Ayuk and them. Ayuk and Debo. Because
no, hell no. I ain't gonna go disrespect the dude like that now. He's better than both of those dudes. The numbers even prove it. Like Debo's not even a real wide receiver. We ain't gonna disrespect him. We ain't gonna throw him with Debo now.
I'm just saying, like top 15. He's not top 5. They say
I think he's better than everybody in San Francisco. I think though.
Yeah, he's better. Like okay,
yeah,
I'll give you that. He's better. I put him on top of that, but he's not Jay Jets. He's not Amon Ra.
Okay.
He's not Cooper Kupp, Triple Crown winner. Say what you want about him. He's not that. He's not what's buddy name?
CD Lamb.
CD Lamb.
Well,
we already at 5.
I think once we start ranking receivers,
AJ Brown
get kind of murky because you're also talking about systems guys playing. So you can honestly say throw Cooper Kupp in Washington in the same situation McLaurin's been in the past 6 years. And throw McLaurin in St. Louis. I mean, not St. Louis, but throw McLaurin with the Rams with Sean McVay. So if we talking about from a talent standpoint, he's one of the 10 best in the league.
Oh,
I think he is. Now, everybody's situation ain't created equal. He don't have a Joe Burrow.
No.
He don't have a Patrick Mahomes. He don't have a Kevin O'Connell. So I think that's why, we gotta have a little bit more context when we evaluate these receivers because we can get caught up in trash and players on the other team, though.
I cannot
and be kind of unfair about it because McLaurin is a damn good player.
He's a good player. He's a great player. 6 years, and this is his best statistical season. 89 receptions, 1,100 yards. Like 6 years. 2017.
I just explained what happened, though. I gave the context behind it, though. You act like he's throwing the ball to him damn self or something.
I'm just saying, like he's not that great. Like if we should have demanded a trade, we should have demanded a trade a long time ago.
You want him to be a non-team guy?
He's a nice guy. He's a really great guy and stuff. He doesn't get in trouble. He's the nicest guy in the world to fans. He's a nice person in general. I'm like, bro, like they put me down there with Ayuk and Debo. Like, yeah, I'm putting you down there with Ayuk and top 5.
No, top 5. To say he's top 5 is a little off, but
yeah,
I don't think because once you get past 6 or 7, you start talking about maybe some number 2 guys out there.
If you take away this season, what's I'm sorry. Take away this season. It's like Amon Ra 1,500. I'm just saying 1,500. Worst season was 995 yards.
So we comparing his situation to McLaurin's. That's why I said we can't keep pouring context out the window. You comparing St. Brown's situation in here with Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, and all the weapons around him to McLaurin playing in Washington with a bunch of construction cones.
That is true.
So it's like
I don't know. I'm gonna write that down.
Look at Tyreek Hill in Miami. That dude ready to quit.
I didn't put Tyreek in the top 5. I didn't put Tyreek in the top 5.
No, but Tyreek has been his career has been better than McLaurin's. It's been better than a lot of these dudes we talked about though. But this is the only season he's been under 1,000 yards, I think, since his rookie season. And he talking about quitting. Well, at least quitting on the Dolphins. He ain't say quitting altogether though.
Yeah,
but
I feel you, man. I understand what you're saying. Like, you got a very good, you got a very good idea of context and what we should be talking about in terms of Terry McLaurin. But outside of Jaden, I got 5 on it that they can't do nothing outside of Jaden. I'm not trying to be ambiguous. Look at the defense. Your defensive head coach is leading out a defense that is ranked 30th in the NFL in running the football.
Yep.
Your defensive coach is getting outshined by Cliff Kingsbury's offensive coordinator on RPOs because they run the most RPOs. They run 148 RPOs in the season. And your defensive head coach has Marshawn Lattimore, who's looking like burnt toast, who has a washed up. Let's think about it. He has a washed up linebacker that was my favorite linebacker, Bobby Wagner, and that defensive head coach is trying to play the cover 3, but he can't play the cover 3 because he doesn't have the people. So guess what? He just runs man, and now we run man, but we got DeJuan Payne and we got Allen, and we can't get no push up the middle. We can't sack the quarterback, but our quarterback's been sacked 47 times in the NFL. So I'm just I'm kind of confused how they can come up in Detroit and just a
miracle gonna happen.
What's it called?
Well,
all hell or whatever they're saying. Like, that's crazy.
If you want something that can show you what Jane Daniels, it plays in Detroit's hand, because I feel like this is the most staggering matchup for this guy right here. So this is his passing splits and the passing depth that he goes. He throws short 41% of the time, medium 21% of the time. Behind the line of scrimmage 19.4% of the time, deep 9.7% of the time. So he passes short, he passes medium, and then you look at how he passes, where he passes at. Short center 24.1% of the time, intermediate center 12.1% of the time, behind the line of scrimmage center 9.9, intermediate right 5.8, short left 5.4. I mean, I look at those splits right there and I go, this is a game that Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are going to have a field day with, because if you throw a ball over the middle, I don't care who you are. We've seen quarterbacks that are not way better, but we've seen quarterbacks that are just like, they're great quarterbacks that, when they throw the ball over the middle, Kirby Joseph will pick that shit off. And so will Brian Branch. And they'll make some plays too. And even a guy like Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone, like they're pretty good in pass coverage. I think they're like top 10 in pass coverage per Pro Football Focus. But I just look at this. I look at the way that Jane Daniels throws the ball, where he throws the ball, and I go, that is right up Detroit's alley. Like, you throw up the middle, okay, fine. You don't throw it deep. Detroit's one of the worst teams at defending the deep ball. I think they're like 31st or something like that. I mean, it's in Detroit's hands.
Yeah, them dudes cooked. You said all that for me to say this. Them dudes is cooked, man. How do people? Yeah,
Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get I really don't get what people really expect Washington to be able to go out there and do. Now, I get why. First of all, we are the best offense they've played against all season.
Oh, for sure.
You can't name one, not even Eagles offense. They played Philadelphia twice. And as much as the national media wants to say Philadelphia has a better offense than us, that's a damn lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flat out lie. The numbers don't even say it.
We got a better defense.
Now, granted, can they go out there and run the ball for 250 yards? True. But that's also because they can't get the ball to their $230 million wide receivers worth a damn. So the thing is this: if Detroit jumps on you, even in Washington's case, if let's say they go out to that situation, because I hear people around the world say, okay, you know what, Detroit fans talking about having to play in Detroit. Nobody's worried about playing in Detroit. It must be something to it, because we undefeated in primetime at home in the past, 2 years, 2.5 seasons?
Yeah, and they're like 11-2 under primetime under Campbell. So
we're big money.
So
we're big money in prime time. So,
but for those people that say going to Detroit doesn't matter, I mean, just talk to some people that have played in Detroit, even when the team was garbage. I mean, there are people that say, "Oh, that's a loud place to play." Like, I can't imagine what would happen if they're a winner. And now you heard Josh Allen like a couple weeks ago say, "If I could play in Detroit, I could play anywhere." That's basically what he said. Basically, he said, "Kansas City, Detroit. If I can play there, I can play anywhere." And you hear players say that, like, that have played Detroit this year, like, they're on silent counts. Like, they're not, like we see with the Vikings, they were on silent count for a majority of the game, and they got false starts and delay of games and all that jazz.
Well, also typically this team doesn't have too many slow starts repeatedly. Like we started slow against Minnesota a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
I don't expect this team to start slow Saturday night. I don't. So yeah,
this is gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, Walt. Because I'm tired of y'all. Look, Washington fans gonna come in here hot. Washington fans gonna come in here hot. Talk about we the Washington Commanders. We gonna take command. We gonna command, take command. And then guess what happened? At the end of the day, they're gonna say, well, y'all got Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs. Y'all was supposed to win. Y'all the number 1 seed. Y'all supposed to win. Look, man. Put them in a box, put 2 on them, and keep them moving. This is what we got to do to keep it moving.
Put 2 in them. Put them in a box.
What are you talking about?
Put them in a box.
I'm trying to see Philly or Matthew Stafford. If I got to endure another Matthew Stafford conversation, bro, the Illuminati run sports because I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired. Tired, bro.
Yeah, I would rather see Philadelphia.
I would rather see Philadelphia.
I really don't want to deal with the whole Kelly Stafford thing and the Matthew Stafford thing. Because she's in
championship.
She's gonna have some stupid podcast in Royal Oak with Hank Winchester, and they're gonna coming back to Detroit. Are you gonna come to the game? I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna come back.
Come at the last minute with Hawk Tua.
Please don't come back to the game, bro. Like just leave us alone.
You're gonna come at the last minute with Hawk Tua, girl, and that's it. And that's what's gonna be it. We had to come back, guys. This is for all the marbles, guys. Watching her talk about sports is like watching Captain Planet, bro. It's like we're gonna join our hands together. We're gonna be there for staff.
What did Captain Planet do to you? Captain Planet. Captain. You know what? I wasn't a Captain Planet watching kid. I didn't watch VR Troopers. I didn't watch Power Rangers. I wasn't into none of that odd stuff. Not at all.
Yeah. I'm just saying. You was probably when you was around. They was watching like Flintstones.
Oh, here you go with the old
moose with the rabbit. The moose with the like squirrel and shit. Like I understand. Moose with the squirrel is what y'all had. I had like anime and stuff. I had like other stuff. But
he's an anime guy.
Yeah, back in those days when y'all had the Flintstones and the Jetsons, and that was it. Y'all had
he was an anime spaz.
We got a Commanders fan we got a Commanders fan that I think he wants to talk to you, Lamar, because
Mike Barco Hartmell.
No, he did say who let Lamar out of the box, but Joe Sims says we outside. Don't ever sleep on us. We ain't sleeping on you, bro.
No.
Our QB gonna outperform yours by a long shot. You just better hope your run game is on point. Wait, what?
How?
About, bro?
You talk about Jared Goff?
So Washington gonna go out. They're gonna go out and do something completely different.
Jared?
They haven't done all season.
We went to Jared Goff? Bro, you talking about Jared? You talking about 80 yards, 3 touchdowns, Jared?
Man, they still off that contact high from that Tampa game last week.
Our QB gonna outperform yours by a long shot? How do you outperform a quarterback that is having like a league MVP type season, man? I don't understand it. Like I really don't. I can't think that's so
confusing. That's so confusing because I'm talking about if you take one game away from Jared Goff, he's MVP. You take one game.
5 interceptions, and you could even say he won that game. So did it really matter?
The guy has 37 TDs.
Mike
Barker is 25.
Mike Barker did say who let Lamar out of the box.
I'm just saying they coming in here hot, talk about this, that, and the third. I could entertain it on YouTube. On YouTube, I entertain it like, hey guys, we're all in this together. I can do that. And then guess what? The prediction gonna come out 35-7. This is bad for the NFL. That's a different conversation.
I just look at it like this. Like we just went through the home road splits, like 35.7 to 25.4. There's obviously a discrepancy right there. But like I just I don't know what the Joe Sims guy is talking about because I mean Jared Goff has been fantastic this year, and I
They
give
behind a team, man.
Jane Daniels, I give him all the credit. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think he's having a hell of a year, rookie of the year, in my opinion, by a long shot. So I don't care about any about that. But to say that he's gonna outperform Jared Goff, I mean, Jared Goff is like Avery said, Spirit Detroit said, if he didn't have that 5 reception game, he's potentially an MVP candidate, and you can make case he's gonna get MVP votes for sure.
You got the rookie of the year. You got the rookie of the year. You check this out. We know you had the rookie of the year because Cliff Kingsbury with Kyler Murray had the rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like your offense was predetermined, predestined. Everything you do with the short routes, everything you do with the screens, with the hitches, with those curl routes, everything you're doing when you put your fastest receiver in motion and you just send him across the field, cross somebody's face, and you throw the ball. And then you have your RPOs to bail you out. Everything you do is wonderful. That's the Tua Tagovailoa offense of 4 years ago. You're playing 4 years ago. You're playing Cliff Kingsbury and them boys. That's Arizona 2018. Everything you're doing, I've seen. You just happen to be in a bad division where no one's going to give you no help. If you were in a top 12 division, top 4 division, where Dallas is something again and New York is something again. I remember they the NFC least now. And then you look at the schedule, you only got 2 wins. 2 wins against winning opponents. Come on now. And you're going to Detroit. You get cold up here. You better bundle up. You get cold up here. We got the Coney Islands. What's it? Hot dogs. We're going to make you feel at home, bro. I got you. What's his name, Joe? I got you. We're going to make you feel at home, bro. We got the popcorn. We're going to get some pop for you. We call it pop up here, boy. We call it pop. We're going to get you
it's just funny to me, like the whole thing. And I just like, and you look at the quarterbacks that ran against Detroit. I mean, Detroit's all on 6.2 yards per carry with the quarterback, but like, look at these guys. I mean, Anthony Richardson had 10 carries for 61 yards without Alex Anzalone. Caleb for 39, 4 for 39. Josh Allen had 11 for 68. Caleb Williams had 6 for 34. So Jaden Daniels is going to get his runs. You just got to limit him. So that's the way I look at it. But Jaden Daniels and Jared Goff, they have some pretty good stats. So I'm not discrediting Jaden Daniels by any stretch of imagination. I don't think any of us are. It's just the reality of the situation. Like this guy, Jaden Daniels, he's a rookie. He's coming into a hornet's nest. I can't say that enough. Like you could sit here and you could say, oh, Jared Goff, and you could say, oh, Jaden Daniels, he's winning the hostile territory, bro. At the end of that Tampa Bay game, there was Commander fans chanting MVP, MVP, MVP. You think that shit's gonna fly in Detroit? No. Like you took over Tampa Bay, we took over Tampa Bay, we took over Green Bay, we took over Kansas City. Like, come on.
Y'all supposed to win. Y'all Detroit. Y'all the number 1 seed. 33 points a game. Y'all good. Y'all got Jared Goff, Alex Anzalone, Kirby Joseph. Y'all got a safety with 9 picks.
All you gotta do is, I think a lot of people they look at it like you're slamming their team, but let's just look at the statistics right here. 35.7 at home. Detroit really feasted teams at home, and 25.4 on the road for the Commanders. So right there, you're 10.3.
Yeah, 10-point difference is huge.
That's huge. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let those 45-point games that we had 45. We gave up 48 to the Buffalo.
Yep.
We gave up another 45 to somebody. I forget who. But don't let these little 2 games where we gave up 45 or whatever. Most teams are held to 20 points against us. Most teams.
It was what, 44 to Buffalo, or 45 to Buffalo?
It was like 48
and 34 to Chicago.
Yeah, and then we had
Green Bay too.
34 to Green Bay.
We had 3 games. We had 3 games where we gave up 31 points.
So
we ranked last for the month.
Here's the games that Detroit gave up more than 25 points. They gave up 29 to the Seahawks in week 4. They gave up week 7 they gave up 29 to the Vikings, which all right, whatever. They get 20 nope, right there. Nope. 31 they gave 31 to the Packers, 48 to the Bills, 17 to the Bears. They gave 34 to the 49ers, they've only given 49ers, Bills, Packers, Vikings, and Seahawks. That's the only games they gave up over 25 points. So right there, you got your cake and you can eat it too.
Right. And hey, look, I'm being funny with y'all because I know the stats. I know the stat. I've been researching. If I haven't been researching, I've been editing. If I haven't been editing, I've been researching.
Yep.
I'm loving this Jaden Daniels shit because check this out. If you like Walt said it, you insert Marcus Mariota, it's a different game. Marcus Mariota, backup quarterback. I'm just saying. Can Marcus Mariota repeat the same stuff that y'all got going on? No. Jaden Daniels, you isolate him, you take him away. And the last person you talk about is Terry McLaurin. It's over. There's nobody. You're not talking about your offensive line. We have jersey sales for our offensive line. Our offensive lines. We have serious goals.
We did too. That's the crazy part. It's funny to me because like you said, if you take Jaden Daniels away from the Commanders, what are they? Like what do the Commanders do outside of Jaden Daniels that you go, that's a problem? Is there anything?
Yeah, they get the first pick in the draft.
Oh, that's done.
Listen, people out there talking about the whole mobile quarterback thing, and well, look what Lamar did to us last year. Lamar also had the #1 defense in football behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to take into context. Just like I get it during this time of season, football fans they're happy, you hype. Your team went on the road, won a playoff game last week. Now you feel like it's us against the world. It's like March Madness. Like it don't matter if your team pulls the upset in round 1 in March Madness, you don't care. Bring on Duke. bring on North Carolina.
You're an Albany fan. You're like, let's bring on Duke.
Yeah, until Duke beats you by 49.
Exactly.
So I get it. They supporting their team. They should feel like they should win, or they're happy that they think they're going to win or whatnot. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, nothing really plays into their favor in this game. And even if Daniels does have a big game, Detroit is probably going to have a bigger game.
I mean, we just went through it again. The Lions score a lot of points at home, and you're going to have to keep pace with them. That's just the way it goes. And, like we just went through, the Detroit Lions only gave up 5 times. They only gave up over 25 points. 5 or 4 times.
Yep.
So, I mean.
Still finished, top 7 in the league in points given up?
I think they're third.
Defensively third. They went because I know the Buffalo game, people don't get this. The Buffalo game is what inflated that shit. Yeah. Because before Buffalo, we were 4th, I think, in points given up.
Yeah. We was 20th. We was like 20. We was ranking 20 in points given up all this time. Like it was always like meandering towards.
No, not in points 20. Given up. Because I know we wasn't even giving up 30. I'm talking about actually points given up, not the yards and stuff. But
no, I'm just talking about the point in the number point. Like we was giving up 20 on average. That's what I was seeing and reporting all year in my unit by units, like where we ranked. It was like we only give up 20 points a game, which the ranking for that was like maybe 10th. Yeah. Because there was Tennessee had that run where they was giving up nothing. And we put that away.
Yeah.
So Detroit, the regular season points given up. Well, that's the postseason. What the hell? I don't know why it's giving me the postseason stats, but last time I checked, they were like 2nd. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
2nd in points given up?
Yeah, points per game given up. I think you got to look at points per game now. You know what I'm saying?
What?
What do you mean?
What I got to look at?
Points per game given up.
I go to Pro Football Reference. I'm looking up straight up the amount of points given up, points for against the points against.
Okay, points against.
And you go to 2024, 15-2. That's crazy. Oh man, Jesus. What 564? That's just crazy. 564 to 342. That's a crazy split right there. 7th. No, they ended up finishing 7th in the league.
Okay, so that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Given up.
It's still a top 10 defense, so that's not bad.
Second in the league though in passing touchdowns. Like this was all of the ingredients pointed towards a good defense, but people got drunk off of that Buffalo game and drunk off the San Francisco game and decided to say we were awful defense.
You got 3 head coaches in the building.
Yeah, exactly.
And still finished 5th in the league. This thing, we lost all of those defensive tackles, and through 17 games, they still finished 5th against the run.
These Lions fans, look.
Paul Jones is right though. Getting Anzalone back was huge though. That was huge last week.
Yeah.
I thought Anzalone come back was huge because of the communication, leadership, and everything. Like I thought that was pretty big. But like that's exactly what we're talking about. Like this is it's not hard, man. Like if you look at this team, like you just gotta take advantage of it, man.
Just ask a hitter. Just ask him how y'all gonna cover JMO. Who's JMO? He like Terry McLaurin. How y'all gonna do that? Well, we gonna put St. Brown on lock. I seen him on Netflix. Yeah, you seen St. Brown?
I've seen him on Netflix.
Like, Brown's got a grudge against him. Who?
My brother's really, really good at Madden. He puts together a coverage. He always takes away St. Brown.
He laughing hard. He was laughing hard. Like I seen him on Netflix. Oh snap!
I think it's funny because like a lot of teams they think about, okay, you got St. Brown, right? Okay, yeah. You got St. Brown, but then here's the problem. You got Jahmyr Gibbs coming out of the backfield that can catch receptions. You got Dave Montgomery that's come back. He can catch receptions too. Sam Laporta coming up the middle. You got J-Mo going down the field. You can't exhaust so many resources to this team. You just can't. Like you
also can't factor in they're not factoring in the trick play touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost guaranteed they're going to score a touchdown in this game off a trick play.
Oh, for sure.
So that puts you down by 7 points immediately. Because you already know Detroit's. If I'm Dan Quinn, I'm going into the game already saying to my guys, all right, we're down by 7. Immediately, we're down by 7 because they're going to run some trick play and score on us.
Oh yeah, and not to mention Tim Patrick too. That's what he just said in the YouTube comments. So you got guys on this team that like, okay, you can cut St. Brown out. You got to stop J-Mo. You got to stop Laporta. You got to stop Gibbs. You got to stop Montgomery. You got to stop Tim Patrick. That's too much, man. That's a lot of people you got to stop, and that's a lot of resources you got to exhaust to. And we were talking about this earlier in the podcast. So, who on the Commanders defense is going to stop? Who's the guy that you look at the Commanders defense and you go, that's a guy that could really wreck the game?
None of them.
Exactly.
None of them.
That you got. Wait. So y'all got. I'm a Commanders fan now. Y'all got a fast. Y'all got a McLaurin. Y'all got Gibbs. I know Gibbs. Wait, y'all got that one dude that number 5. Wow. Wait, y'all got St. Brown and Laporta. Wait. Y'all got a guy named Tim Patrick. He got like 600 yards on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
yeah, but
that's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shit.
I remember I was talking to a guy who does a Buffalo Bills podcast, and I hopefully we meet in the Super Bowl because I want to do a podcast with him. He's a very smart guy, but he was saying that as bad as that game was for Detroit, if they wouldn't have fell in that 14-0 hole, that game would have been a whole lot different. And he said that offense is nuts. It's nuts, and we were missing Montgomery for half the game. You know what I'm saying? Like that offense that we have, it's so tough to beat, man. Like you just like look at the guys on that offense, and you go, there's not many guys on that offense that you're like, okay, we can work around him because Tim Patrick could beat you, Laporta could beat you. God bless America. Brock Wright could beat you. Like he's a guy that could sneak up on you if you give him a little bit of you exhaust all your resources to other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Skipper can beat him. You never know.
Skipper
any given day, Penei Sewell might beat him. Like,
oh man,
it happens, man. When you can't account for that, because they've removed the kick return from football so dramatically. Now you have to figure out ways to get easy points. Not to say that punt returns and kickoff returns were easy points, but you needed to figure out another. You needed to figure out another way to generate some easy points. I don't think they do it to run up the score, disrespect anybody. They do it to catch you off guard. Mm-hmm. If I can get a layup, I make the NBA the basketball comparison to like teams who they shoot so damn much to the point that they shoot themselves out of the game and they disrespect the easy ones, the layups, the bunnies. You need some of those. We talked about this team last year in Detroit and the long drives, the 13-play drives. We need easier points. We need J-Mo to step up, this season because we need to get some of those layups. The 12 and 13 play drives are beating us up too much. Well, J-Mo stepped up. J-Mo had a really good season. And prior to this season, there were a lot of people that were really anti-Jameson Williams. He was a failure. He was a knucklehead. He was never going to be anything. I'd say that this is going to happen. That's going to happen. Dude cracked his double-digit touchdowns, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Did he crack his 1,000?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. That doesn't sound like a failure to me.
No. I thought Viking fans are funny last week. They were like, "Oh, Jordan Addison's better than J-Mo," and I was like, "Wait, maybe again DUIs, but J-Mo is a better. He's better.
Yeah. And I like Addison, but hey, he's a good player, but hey,
yeah,
he ain't no J-Mo.
Look,
Ellen says in the comments, "I want a hook and ladder on the first drive." I think that'd be that'd be amazing. Fucking 59-yard ladder, hook and ladder to J-Mo. All right, good luck. I mean, they don't have a guy in their defense that's gonna keep up with J-Mo. Who's the guy in their defense that's gonna keep up with J-Mo?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody. So look, let me tell you something. They talk about Jaden. I want to talk about Jared Goff. Jared Goff is the guy, everybody looks at like corny, that's down the third. But in a way, he's the field general of this thing. He keeps us rolling. He keeps the money on the line. This is Jared Goff we're talking about. This dude, 3,700 yards this year. What else he had? He had 37 touchdowns. This dude been the same offense 4 years. Little stuff. He's done the RPO as well. We talk about people look at Jared Goff like a game manager. When you're scoring like this, it's a field general type of situation. So I can't stress enough that,
I'm glad you said that shit. So much because people don't understand. It's a difference between a game manager and a field general.
Yeah. Well, I think here's what I think. I think people don't understand the field general aspect of the game anymore.
No.
Like I think
you're not Peyton Manning, or if you're not Brady, they don't.
I think for people to see you as a field general, you got to be barking out all the commands like at the line, like Peyton Manning, Omaha and shit like that.
But he does that.
Or Dak Prescott with the whole "here we go."
Like, you have a 95% audible rate. He does that.
Well, they want to see you chew somebody out too.
Yeah. But Jared Goff. Here's the thing about Jared Goff. I always say this about Jared Goff. You watch Jared Goff, and you see exactly what he is, man. He is a smart quarterback that could beat you with his arm, because his arm is pretty good. I say that his deep arm is not the best, but it's one of the best in the league, to be honest. If you look at the defensive, the deep ball stats, but just the way that he plays the game, he's always throwing good balls. Like there's once in a while where he starts throwing these gopher balls. I mean, that just happens once in a while.
5 interceptions, seven turnovers in 3 weeks.
Sometimes the football just leaves his hand kind of funky. But that deep throw to J-Mo against the Bears, that was one of the cleanest footballs I've seen him throw in 4 years.
Or that deep ball to J-Mo against the first game of the season against the Rams. Deep play over there on what's that bum name? Coming off injury, Tre'Davious
White, yeah.
Perfect ball, boom. And then obviously your catch was better. Man, that's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shit.
Well, then they're gonna follow up. Well, yeah, but you guys got all that stuff, but Goff's no good because McVay got rid of him for a reason.
Well, Buddy in the comments says exactly what everyone across the league thinks. Goff isn't mobile, so a lot of people will be like, "Oh, he ain't a good quarterback." And I always tell people, like, we had this discussion a year ago or something. I said, the mobile quarterback is going to be the thing, but there's still a thing for guys like Stafford and Goff, whatever, guys that can throw the ball at a good pace and they can throw it accurately. That's the key. Like, can you throw it accurately down the field? Now you got these guys coming out of college, like they're not accurate at all. Like these guys coming out of college, like we talked about before the podcast today. These guys coming out of the draft, like the Cam Wards, the Shador Sanders, like, man, there is like some.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the mobile, check this out. This is why this is sexy. And I'm gonna break this down. for years, the quarterback had to be a certain way, right? Whether I'm not even putting race in it or nothing, quarterback just had to be a certain way.
Oh, that's
But
factual.
if you look at a journey from a quarterback to superstar, the mobile quarterback has the clear-cut journey, because the mobile quarterback is going to make the most exciting plays, exciting situations, and be exciting and be not necessarily clutch, but when they can be exciting and clutch, that's great. Lamar's of the world. When a mobile quarterback's evolution is a superstar. It's just that close. It's like Squirtle going to Blastoise. Okay, it's like, oh yeah, Walt's here. It's like Fred Flintstone growing up and becoming older Fred Flintstone. You know, it's like, you got I don't know what cartoons you got, bro. I'm using anime. I'm using Pokemon. I don't know what cartoons you got. I don't know. It's like an evolution. It's like Digimon. I don't know. It's an evolution that takes place. For the game manager, first, a game manager got to be a starter. So we have to confirm that he's a starter, that he can play, Sam Darnold. Then we have to say he can manage the game, and all this other stuff, and we use this jargon. And then after that, we say, what do we say? We say, oh, well, he's a wily veteran or a field general, because at a certain point within the system, he's, making plays, making checks at the line. He's doing a lot of things. And then here we say superstar, elite quarterback, and we say all these other things that are sexy for TV. The mobile quarterback goes straight to superstar. Just making exciting plays. Look at this exciting play on ESPN. It's just like that every time. So people fantasize and romanticize the mobile quarterback, not only because you can win with that formula, with outliers like Russell Wilson, stuff like that. Like, I love mobile quarterbacks. Goff is mobile to a degree. He has like 68 rushing yards on the year. But y'all don't want to highlight that. What y'all highlight is other stuff, okay? But I can highlight when Jared Goff takes off and runs. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that Hendon Hooker-esque type of part of his game. He went to Cal. He better know how to do an RPO, which he's done in this offense.
Yep.
So I just feel like the fascination with the Lamars, the Mahomes, the fascination with the mobile QB, and you see it all across the board. It's Josh Allen. It's Joe Burrow to a certain degree. There's 19 to 20 mobile quarterbacks in the NFL listed as mobile quarterbacks. 20. Goff is a part of a dying breed of field generals that can only be Mark Brunell, or that can only be, well, not even Mark Brunell. They can only be Peyton Manning. They can only be that. And that is just so great and so high that evolution doesn't take place at a rapid pace. Does that make? Am I making sense?
No, you make it perfect sense. I think a lot of people, they dismiss the whole improviser thing too, because there's a lot of improvising quarterbacks in the league, like Joe Burrow. Like, I think Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield could be in that category too. Is like they can take off and run.
Yeah, Baker's mobile.
I always laugh because I think that if you have a mobile quarterback, okay, and he's not a pass first guy, you're gonna run into some issues.
Jaden is a pass first guy. Did I make you mad, Walt, with the old joke about the Flintstones? I'm sorry, man.
Man, you talking about? The fact that you running it into the ground getting on my nerves a little bit, though.
I'm sorry.
The joke ain't all that funny. But, because I could go off on the anime. You was sitting. you was one of the spazzes at the anime table, huh?
Look, I just quoted. Look, I gave these people. Look, I was so off key. I gave these people Squirtle and Blastoise. I was. Man, it's not good. It's not good.
I would say this, man. I don't really care about the mobile stuff. I don't really get caught up in it. I would much rather my quarterback. Of course, he got to be in tune with the offensive coordinator and head coach, all that stuff. But I would much rather my quarterback on 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 make the right calls, get us in the right position to be successful, get the protections in the right sets to make sure we get this playoff over a guy that's just a runner. Or even if he's not just a runner, a guy that I know, okay, like let's say Anthony Richardson is a bad example because right now he is just a runner. But let's say even Lamar, for that matter. Lamar is a very mobile quarterback, but he can also beat you from the pocket.
Yeah.
I would rather instead of having Lamar's legs, I would rather have a quarterback that can improvise a little bit, manipulate the pocket, buy a little bit of time, get the ball to the guys that the football is supposed to get to, and let them make the plays, let them take the hits. I don't want my quarterback out there running around getting hit all the damn time. Because when you look at Jaden, it was crazy the amount of hits Jaden took in college, man.
Too much.
Fact that teams didn't even respect him enough to not hit him.
They just wanted to take him out, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just want my quarterback to win. Yeah, I'm happy. It took me a while to come around to golf because, like Lamar said, man, it's not sexy. It's not pretty. His style of football doesn't scream superstar. Like, even when Peyton was great, Peyton was never called a superstar. Vic was called a superstar. Now, Peyton was called elite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Peyton was called the best at the position, but nobody really called Peyton a superstar. Like, look at the NBA for that matter. Like, guys with a game like Cade Cunningham, Cade will dunk every now and then, but Cade's not the most athletic.
He's not flashy like the rest of them.
Right.
Exactly. He's
Now,
not
but
shooting threes. You're not shooting threes from beyond the key. And
yeah, you ain't shooting threes, and
he's a
scorer.
garbage. Like, he's a good scorer. He's a good all-around 3-level scorer. Now you look at the LeBron Jameses and the Vince Carters, for that matter. Those guys get labeled the superstars because they put bottoms in seats.
That's it. That's what it's about. Because if you can have a Lamar Jackson, and y'all look, check this out. This is what they do too in the media, and I'm talking to the media right now. Y'all will hype up this Jaden Daniels dude. I like him. I liked him more than I like Caleb.
Yep.
Y'all hyped up Caleb. Y'all hyped up Jaden Daniels. Now y'all got the Jaden Daniels game. Y'all can hype that up. I'm seeing Kurt Ben Kurt. Jaden Daniels has a chance to prove he can win. I'm like, okay, 40,000 views. Jaden Daniels. All right.
He's a hot name. He's a hot name right now.
Exactly. But check this out. They build you up just like they did with Lamar. Lamar was the first time I got a chance to see this in my lifetime because I heard about what they did to Cunningham. I heard about what they did to what's his name, Michael Vick. I was too young, and I seen this in my real lifetime. How Lamar was second year. Lamar's got a first year. He's Lamar Jackson. He's so great. Oh my God. Second year. Lamar Jackson has to throw that ball on a dime. And then fourth year, Lamar Jackson, he's terrible. I think they should trade it. They build you up just to destroy you.
Yeah.
And they can do that with the superstar. Remember, Lamar Jackson was supposed to get traded this offseason. People don't even talk about that.
Yeah, he was signed up to tender.
31 teams came out, 31. We're not interested in Lamar Jackson. 31. That means they didn't even have to say a statement.
Yeah.
So
they knew he wasn't going nowhere.
They built it up. And guess what? If Lamar don't win tomorrow, or if Lamar don't win this week, or if Lamar don't win next week, or if Lamar don't win in 3 weeks, they're going to say the same stupid stuff. They're going to have the same conversations like they do with LeBron, and they're going to keep their ratings. So the superstar conversation and the superstar quarterback, all that stuff is fueled by the media. They see the action play highlights. Yeah, it's all cute.
I mean, they view Jaden Daniels as cute right now because he's a rookie. Now they're gonna take off the kid gloves over the offseason. Watch how much they hate him next season. Like if Washington starts 4-5, something like that next season, they're not gonna be talking about how great he is. They're gonna be talking about he's hit this wall.
Should Jaden Daniels ask for a trade?
No. Is he the guy? That's
yeah.
I don't know. They're 4-5.
What's up, Joe?
What do you mean?
Oh, you was just looking mad. I was like,
Alan Steele got a question. He says, "Do you guys think that whoever wins the Bills Ravens game, that team will be in the Super Bowl?" I don't see Kansas City doing a three-peat. And I know you got to move Lamar because we'll wrap this up pretty quick. But
no, KC is on the way. I think those three teams are the upper echelon, but I think KC has it just because these crazy ways they won. Like I'm planning to play KC. I'm not planning to play anybody else. Like if I play somebody, I'll be happy. But KC is like
they find the most miraculous ways to win. To be honest, you got to give them the credit that they deserve because I mean Patrick Mahomes, he has 11 game winning drives. 11. That's amazing right there.
I got big respect for Kansas City. I just think that out of those 3 teams, we probably match up with them, at least from their perspective. I think we're the worst matchup for them.
Yep.
Because we're going to apply pressure offensively. And I think a lot of teams think about the last 2 years, how many close games Kansas City played. And a lot of those games came down to 2 or 3 bad calls by the refs or missed calls by the refs. No holding here, late hit there. Teams play them with too much respect.
Yes,
Dan Campbell's too crazy to give a damn about Kansas City.
No.
Ben Johnson's not going to give a damn about Kansas City. They're going to try to score on them and put them behind the 8 ball. What happened when Buffalo got the scoring on them? They couldn't really catch up.
Yep.
So what do now? If Kansas City and Andy Reid and that defense with Spagnuolo, if they manage to put us in a panic room and we find ourselves in a 20-17 game with them late 4th quarter, I wouldn't even say that because they've had a lot of these weird 17-16 games.
Yes.
20 so it's like I would be worried then because if it came down to a 20-17 game heading to the 4th quarter, we down by 3 or we up by 3, I'd be worried then. Because it would mean to me that okay, after 3 quarters, our offense still has to stop sputtering.
Mm-hmm.
So if we haven't been able to stop sputtering past 3 quarters, what makes me think Andy Reid and Patrick won't get it together in the 4th and put us away? I think, it's Baltimore scares me more from a matchup perspective than Kansas City does. And I respect Kansas City because they're the champs. But just because you the champs doesn't mean that you don't have a bad matchup. Yep. And I think we are a bad matchup for them.
Check this out. I just gotta look. Mandel Harvey, 34-29. Philadelphia fan here. I'll be shocked if Detroit wins this game. It's like the transfer portal at NIL is the only way to get a Big Ten to get the Big Ten to compete. They play old man football, and this is the SEC. Detroit ain't built for this. I don't know what the college analogy was for because that was the weirdest stuff ever.
Who's the SEC team?
The SEC is Washington.
Washington?
What? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, you want to say Washington? You want to say the Washington's SEC team? Okay, they're Tennessee. We're Ohio State.
Yeah, we Notre Dame and smoke.
You want the smoke? You can get the smoke. I mean, the reality of the situation is this: the Lions are going to put you in. This is why I think
Philadelphia
people across that NFL, they do not understand the way this Lions team plays. They think that this Lions team plays methodical football. This team is aggressive as hell. Number one. Number two, they could attack you downfield. They could attack you in the middle. They could attack you with the run game. They could attack you with the pass game. They could attack you at just going for it on 4th down 50 times. That's just the way it goes. So
this is what I don't get about listeners. How do we know more about your team than you know about ours? And our team has 15 wins. We're on TV a lot, so you should know about us. Washington ain't on TV that damn much. We've been on prime time a ton the last 2 years, so you had prime front row seats to see us boat race teams. So you know exactly what we're about.
You see, we had primetime games to speak to that. We had primetime games. I ain't never see y'all until the month I turn on the TV. It was Monday night, and I see Bengals, and I see the last play against Chicago.
Man,
they never heard of y'all.
They confident. That's all it is. Vikings fans was confident too.
This was a Philly fan talking this crazy stuff.
Brandon Ellis said this, and I want to. Lamar looked this up. He said, "Who did Washington beat in the regular season? That was over 500. We went over.
I already said that
it was 2 teams. Yeah.
What's he talking about, bro? Y'all be talking
he might have joined in late, so I was just
telling him. Like a Commanders fan?
No, he was saying who did the Commanders beat?
Oh, okay. So he wasn't saying accusatory. He was saying it who did the Commanders beat?
Nobody. A lot of people don't know.
They beat Philly. They beat Philly because of a drop pass, and they beat the Bengals. Come on, bro. Watch out.
So what you're saying is they only have 1 win over a playoff team. Cool. Yeah. Detroit has 7.
Yeah.
They beat Tampa.
They beat yeah. They beat Tampa.
Hey, and Tampa beat us. Dude, a Commanders fan told me that earlier today.
They played Baltimore close.
Tampa beat you guys back in week 2, and we beat Tampa.
I was waiting on that dumbass shit.
Oh my God.
It's like rock, paper, scissors, NFL.
I always tell people, if you want to do this transitionary bullshit, it's not going to work out in your favor, especially when you think about, like, you've only won one game against playoff teams. That's whatever.
Bro, let me tell you something about this team. This team right here.
Skip says what we all know. Philly fans want Washington because they're scared of Detroit. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what
Man, Philly better worry about the Rams.
This team got grit, man. This team right here is the best team I've seen in 10 years. And I've seen some teams.
Spirit was saying earlier that they was going to put him in a box. I think if Dan Campbell played Nick Sirianni, he put Nick Sirianni in a box for sure.
Oh yeah, because this is over. We got 3 head coaches.
Yep.
I don't think people understand the severity of, like, dude.
Well, I think we have 5 head coaches on our staff, to be honest. So.
Yeah, this is.
You know what's weird about this? Like, this whole Detroit Lions being really good thing is just sprung the entire league. They sprung a leak around the league because nobody understands how to really handle it. So they just throw anybody out there to beat us. Like, I keep hearing Tony Gonzalez was the main one. Eagles are better. Eagles are better. Well, why, Tony? Well, better roster. You only hear people say shit like that in basketball. Like, when do football players say that team is better because they have better name players? Nobody says that in football. No. Football players, people, coaches, people, like football people in general, even if you never played football or coach, football people understand the ingredients that what goes into a good quality football team. To say a team, to look at Detroit through 17 games and look at the Eagles, you walked away from that saying the Eagles are better from top to bottom than Detroit. That's a damn lie. It's a lie. It's very dishonest that people have went through the entire season preaching this.
It's because of the names. Detroit don't have a lot of names. I don't hear their
They got really good players though.
I don't hear their wide receivers asking for money, and I don't see them holding out and stuff. So
man, it's that lion on your hat. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
They can't get past that. It's some people out there that just can't get past that lion, man.
No, I think this is a Detroit thing, dude. I think this is a Detroit sports thing, because I feel like every time, even when the Red Wings were good, like the Red Wings in the Dynasty era, you know, they're gonna lose in the first round, blah blah blah.
The Pistons, Flyers are gonna sweep you guys.
When the Pistons were good, they were like, oh, this team plays a boring brand of basketball.
Oh, those Lakers, they got the better roster.
Right, they got It's like,
you better look out for those Pacers.
Yeah, it's like come on.
How are they going to defend Rick Fox? Rick Fox.
What are they going to do against Jermaine O'Neal?
And then we win the championship. There's nobody talking about us.
Well, Shaq and Kobe had what they were at odds.
Exactly.
Well, that's why you guys lost.
Did Patrick Mahomes lose the Super Bowl, or did the Lions win it? I think Patrick Mahomes lost.
That's exactly what it would be. That's exactly what it would be. It's always like that. The phrase is Detroit versus everyone. That's the phrase that a lot of people use. That's reality, because a lot of people, they just sit here and they go, man, this Detroit team, they're not they're not this, they don't got the better roster. It's like, what are you talking about? Just do the homework, bro.
Part about it is, if we win the Super Bowl, you know what they're gonna say? Detroit wasn't the best team.
Yeah.
Well, watch what happens. Well, you guys didn't play Philadelphia because Philadelphia lost to the Rams. Well, if they lost to the Rams, they wasn't a better damn team, you goof. That's what kills me when people try to downplay another team. Well, you guys lucked up because you didn't have to play another team that bombed out in the round before. Like, really?
No, it's just the reality. Like the whole Detroit thing, though. That's the funny part about it. It's all Detroit sports teams. It really is. Yeah. Like you hear people talking about the Pistons right now, and they're like, well, they're kind of they're just the same, the same old. Like, no,
21-18. That shit.
Yeah, and then you're hearing about them talking about the Red Wings. Well, they're all they're hot right now. It's like. It's been like that forever, man. Like, every time this city has something good to talk about, like this city has a good team, everyone's like, oh man, this team, they're one bad game away. It's like, no fucking shit. Like, no shit.
They just waiting on that loss. I mean, if you're a fan or you're a media member out there, you're waiting on that one loss to be right. You're going to be right eventually. This team isn't going to just keep winning for the next 5 years and never lose a game. They're going to lose. So you're going to be right eventually.
That's why when Lamar was saying it earlier about after the Buffalo game, when the people were like going, I admit I was a little bit scared because obviously the injuries and everything.
Yeah.
But I heard people in the national media, oh, this team ain't good enough, man. This team ain't good enough. Now, there was only one person in the national media that I give credit to. Is Pat Kerwin from Sirius XM Radio. He was the only one. He was like, this team can outscore anybody. And that's how they're going to win.
But they treated that Buffalo game like we lost 44-6 or something.
Yeah. Lost by 5 points, 3 points.
I mean, if you listen to some sports radio in Detroit, they were talking about how like we got absolutely shelled in that game. I'm like, all right, whatever. The game was
we can't handle good players.
Yeah, when they play good teams, I just don't see it from them.
We can't play good quarterbacks.
We beat your king. We beat your king. Every king you've had. You've had Matthew as your king. You've had Mahomes as your king. Like now we're going to beat your kings. Now we're going to take out Jalen. Jalen, I just can't wait. I want the Eagles so bad. I just want them so bad. Well, they won because they were in Detroit. You think you're going to mess up our ring ceremony, our NFC championship ceremony? You think I'm not about to screen record that and put that as an intro? You think I'm about to what? Are you really think you about to mess that up? All right, cool. Well, that's a lot of shit. No, bro. We about to get drunk and everything. You think we about to what?
It's just it's literally the Detroit thing. I do like the only. Well, Alan brings it up. Rex Ryan has praised Detroit. Well, that's the reason he praises Detroit. Well, he has to because his kid's on the staff. So, but that's the only guy that really does it. But
he's got a son on the staff.
Yeah, Seth Ryan. He's the assistant wide receivers coach next to Randall L. So,
I think Rex actually knows football too.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He really is. But
he doesn't have a dog in the race. Like everybody else up there seems to have some. Either an axe to grind with Detroit or an axe to grind with Philly or an axe to grind with somebody. Rex doesn't really give a damn.
Yeah, I just think that they bring up this whole Detroit thing and it's like we hear with the city of Detroit, like, oh, you go there, you're gonna die. It's like, wait.
Ain't nothing to do there.
Like it was so funny because I work with a guy who's German. He's like, it's okay, go to Detroit. I'm like, you're in Detroit right now, dude.
What? You start looking around and
he's like, where's all the bodies? I mean, what do you think this is?
It's awful. That's awful, man.
That's what it is, man. So let's just get to what it is. What's the predictions for this game? Because Darcy said the same thing. Well, what's the prediction? So obviously I know Lamar got to go and everything. So we've been doing this for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's always good to have and I like the static look. Like this look is so great. Like you really produced the hell out of this.
I try.
This look is amazing. 33-20 for me.
What do you got, Walt?
I truly believe they're gonna. A blowout can be 14 points. A blowout can be 30 points. I think they cover those 9 points though. I think they cover the 9.5.
Do you guys think it goes over the over-under, which is 55.5 right now? Well, it was 55. It was 56 earlier, but it went to 55 just before the podcast.
I could see, not really. I could see something like 26-17, 26-15, something like that. I just think they're gonna manage to suffocate what's going on up front. The confidence AG showed, and I listened to his presser earlier today, and their evaluation of Jaden Daniels and his breakdown of what they do offensively was lock and step with our thoughts on what they do offensively, and him to follow everything up by saying, pretty much, we got it. We got this. They got it figured out how they're going to handle them. I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to cover that 9.5 points, and they're going to. That's still a blowout. I would say around 26-15, 26-16. And then they're going to just boat race whoever they play in the NFC Championship. I think that building NFC Championship game, first time since 1991 that this team has hosted. Well, no, they didn't even host it in 91. They played on the road at Washington.
Never.
Right.
They've ever hosted.
Yeah.
They never hosted, yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's going, man. This
host
building is already crazy enough.
This city's crazy right now.
So start with Detroit. Started in Detroit with the draft, and now it's going to end in Detroit.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be tough. Me and my brother talked about this the other day. It's gonna be tough, regardless of who it is. It's gonna be tough for Stafford to come here and do it. It's gonna be tough for Philly to come here and do it.
I know that Dan Campbell is gonna have this team ready to go. That's why I every time we play a tough team, I know he's gonna have them ready to go because he always does.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two, this team, they feed off the energy in that building, because that energy in that building is effing unbelievable. And it was built, if you look at Ford Field, everyone ask why it's the noise is kept in there. It's built like an airplane hangar. So that's why all the noise gets trapped in there. So that's why it is what it is. So there's a lot of people in the comments that are giving scores. Paul Jones goes 33-9.
That would dash the hopes.
Scuff and Gruff, he says 34-14.
He got trunks. You see that? He got trunks. Trunks. Dragon Ball Z. Nerf character. Nerf.
Alan Steele got it right on the 10 points. He wins.
34-24. Alan says 34-24. Skip says 41-10, just like 91, except the good guys win. Buddy says 42-28. That's a high scoring game. That'll go over. But that is it. So
yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do it to Jared Daniels. Jaden Daniels has to get $50 million a year. If they don't pay this guy, and then once he gets money, they're gonna put all the pressure on him.
I think the Lions are gonna win 31-17. And
31-17.
Yeah.
You usually notice a trend.
Well,
all more than 10 points.
Spread covering.
Yeah, I think I just go off. Okay, so when I go pick these games, like I tell people on the podcast all the time, which we're gonna do this next week too, because this is it was great. Anyways, but whenever I pick the games on the podcast, I always tell people, like, I always look at the road splits or home splits in Detroit's to the winner there, and then I look at, has this guy ever been in a situation like this? Now I know Jaden Daniels played at LSU, but this is a different ball game right here, man. NFC in a divisional round, going to Detroit. Detroit's a hell of a, it's a scary place to play. Silent count. How are you guys gonna really get around that? I think that could account for 4 to 5 penalties, like pre-snap penalties. Mm-hmm. And the Commanders, they rank, what are they, like 3rd in pre-snap penalties? So there you go. There's your pre-snap penalties that could really come in. Detroit's one of the most disciplined teams in pre-snap penalties. So I think that kind of spoils the game. And then you look at the home and road splits. Detroit's like I put up here earlier. Detroit's for people that missed it, Detroit's 35.7 at home. Commanders are 25.4 on the road. So you look at all that and you say, all right, Detroit 31-17. Because I just think that Detroit's gonna they score 31 a game at home. So,
dude, it's go get the money. The Lions have been easy money all season. I think they're the only team in the league that are undefeated against the spread at home.
If you go on FanDuel right now, this should tell you something about how this game should go. Okay, if you go on FanDuel right now, these are the odds for touchdown scores. Okay, these are the odds for the touchdown scores, which is it's like okay, what is the odds for the touchdown scores? For Jahmyr Gibbs, it's -400. That's Ashton Genty type numbers. It's minus 330 for Dave Montgomery. It's -150 for Amon-Ra, -105 for Jameson, and then it's a +135 for Sam Laporta. Vegas is telling you something, man. Follow the money. They are giving Detroit this built-in. It's like it's a college game right now. This is literally college game numbers. I'll put it on the screen. Right, look at this. That's college game like touchdown.
I would say for gamblers out there, if you were smart enough to bet Houston last week, you got your money. Mm-hmm. Don't go hunting for no damn upsets this week.
No, I unfortunately bet the other way. I like the Chargers with the 3rd down defense. I forgot the elite quarterback been handcuffed all season. He ain't used to being elite anymore. He ain't used to having to say the day, and then he tried to say the day, and he destroyed the day.
What I think happened with Houston, man, because Houston caught us off guard too. Yeah. I think that Houston front seven, and we didn't play against Will Anderson. No. But that Houston front seven, the worst time to see that team for the very first time of the season is in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna get out of here, guys.
All right. Yeah, we'll end the podcast right now. Thanks for everybody for watching. We'll be back next week. Me, Walter, and Lamar. We'll be back next week talking.
Yeah,
Lions.
absolutely.
Because this was a great podcast. Everyone loved this shit, so we gotta do it again, and we gotta keep doing it because this is great stuff. So we'll see you guys in the next podcast. So obviously, let's go Lions, and we'll play it out with the J-Mo highlight.